Long Needle Licky, Buster Matheny, Joey Devine, Derek Chivas, Popeye Jones, Sean Keane, Serge Zwicker, Patreon members Grant Cameron, Keith Fast Break Breakfast Parrish, Jeff Griffith Parham, musical guest The Judds, and now the temporary host of Round Ball Rock, Joey Devine.
Hi, it's me, Joey Devine, your temporary host of Round Ball Rock, sounding slightly less sick today.
I agree, yeah.
Back with another division preview, but before we get to that, just some business here at the top. Please give us 5-star reviews on iTunes. I know it's super weird, they only let you give 5-star reviews. Very strange. If you'd like to contact us, though, you can call us on the phone at the number in the description of this show, email us at roundrockpod@gmail.com, or tweet at us at roundrockpod. Also, if you like the show so much, you would like to help me eat food, you can do so at patreon.com/roundrockpod. We've got a bunch of great tiers, and, our button designs came in, and I've got to say, they're tight as hell.
They're very good.
$10 a month, you get 3 buttons and a new sticker.
Mm-hmm.
Should I describe the buttons, Sean?
Tell them about the buttons.
Your first button is Benny the Bull and John Paxson, the GM of the Chicago Bulls, in the Shining hotel room from the bear costume blowing scene. Mm-hmm. You know
it, you love it.
Your second button is Don Nelson at the Hall of Fame, and it has a poker motif.
Yeah.
And your third button is called Great Moments in Round Ball Rock History. And you know what it has on it, Sean?
Is it the greatest dunk of all time?
It is. It's John Collins jumping over that airplane.
And jumping through, but yeah. His tribute to the Wright brothers and everyone who died in an early crappy plane.
And that voice you're hearing right now, of course, is America's favorite permanent co-host, Sean Keane. Sean, I have a correction to make from last episode.
Oh, okay.
I realized, like an hour after we've hung up the call and stopped recording, that it seems like both you and I forgot Mitchell Robinson was actually on the New York Knicks.
I guess so.
I was talking about how Iggy Brazdeikis was definitely their best young player.
Okay, yes.
And it's very clearly Mitchell Robinson.
Seems like it's definitely Mitchell Robinson. I will say, he is exactly the kind of player to get people very excited and then kind of wash out.
It's true.
I felt the same way about, God, who was the other player that someone was reacting as if he was already definitely going to be good? It wasn't Bamba. It's I'll think of it. But it's the type of player that can often break your heart. But he seems like he just rules, Joey.
He's really good.
He doesn't even seem like he's
I love Mitchell
risky
Robinson, actually.
You're not risking your heart with him.
I also think I need to point out that I forgot Dennis Smith was on the team until halfway through our conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I was on so much cold medicine.
Well, the other thing that's just weird when you look at the team is just what an overwhelming amount of guys the Knicks have.
Mm-hmm.
There's almost no one that's completely boring because it's a hype star that never, they have in the last 2 years they've had 5 point guards that got picked between 7 and 9 in the draft, which is the sweet spot for being disappointed but never giving up.
It's also a funny thing, like, if Mitchell Robinson was very clearly your best player, why would you sign only centers?
Mm-hmm.
You know? It's kind of like the Knicks front office also forgot about Mitchell Robinson, so I don't feel so bad.
Well, it's weird because it just seems like the Knicks just think of one kind of thing and then just fill up on that. Like, their point guards are... They have Moutier. They have Frankie Smokes. Sorry, they
don't
Moutier.
have Moutier. Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
they had Moutier. They don't have him anymore. They had Frankie Smokes, and they had Dennis Smith Jr., and despite that, they're like, you know who would be good up in this mix? Elfrid Payton.
You also forgot about Trey Burke.
Oh, well, they've had Trey Burke? Yeah, exactly. At no point are they like, you know, should we just be, like, just trying to get, like, Raul Neto or something, you know? like just a reliable guy that you're not, you know, betting on the potential and disappointed all the time, and, yeah, like just get, like, a 30-year-old to back up these guys.
We also, since we're talking about the Knicks, should mention James Dolan's swole son, James Swollen.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, you didn't see that today? Oh boy. Do I have a picture to show you?
Yeah, I was sort of just at work today. I didn't even get to catch Jacob Wohl's press conference, and I feel terrible.
Oh boy. You missed some stuff then, huh?
I kind of caught up on it, but also I was like, why are people still going to his press conferences? Like he's like 0 for 4. People keep coming.
I don't know why I'm having trouble finding this. Here it is. LatestDailyNews.com. Knicks owner James Dolan has a super jacked son. Where's this picture? Anyway, here's what I'll tell you about James Dolan's son. He's an Instagram fitness guru, I guess. But he looks like a Jersey Shore guy. If that makes sense. Here I found it. I found the tweet. Hold on. It comes with video. I'm sending you the tweet.
I did recently start following Arnold Schwarzenegger's swole son on Instagram.
Well, you'll have to tell me if he's as swole as James Dolan's son.
Alright, let's see.
The video includes James Dolan's son walking on his hands a lot.
I mean, he's pretty swole. He is shaped strange.
He can do a standing backflip. This guy seems like he's 5'2", right?
Yes. How old is he?
No clue, dude. I guess I could look that up. I am in front of Google.
It just seems like he should be... Like, this makes me think he's not ready to take over the Knicks.
He's 24.
He's doing handstands. His name's Quentin. It's also weird that he just lifts. Like he's not playing a sport, he's just lifting, but I guess,
according to wallmine.com, do you want to know how much he makes a year as director of MSG Networks?
Oh my god. Is it $300,000?
No, it's only $176,000 a year.
Jesus Christ.
24.
That's one of the things that Dolan was getting sued for by the stockholders in MSG. It was like paying your idiot children 6-figure salaries and touring with JD in the straight shot while you're employed as the chief executive officer of the company. I can see how you would object to that.
Look, I don't know what wallmine.com is, but can I read you the Quentin Dolan biography right now?
Oh, please.
Quentin F. Dolan is director of the company. Mr. Dolan is a student at New York University. Mr. Dolan is a recent graduate of New York University. Mr. Dolan has held internship positions at Grubman Shire and Marcellus, Azov MSG Entertainment, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin F. Dolan is the son of James L. Dolan, the stepson.
Must have had a good cover letter for Azov Dolan.
The stepson of Kristen A. Dolan, the grandson of Charles F. Dolan, the nephew of Tom... We don't care about the nephew. In light of the knowledge and experience he has gained about the company's business and the contributions he has made during his tenure as a director of the company, as well as being a member of the third generation of Cablevision's founding family, our board has concluded that Quentin F. Dolan should serve as a director of the company. What is this website?
Wallmine.com?
Wallmine.com/people/38634/Quentin-F-Dolan.
It says Wallmine is used by top analysts at Bank of America and Goldman Sachs. This, like, just the interface of this site makes me think that my credit card number's already been stolen.
Well, either way, we would like to say, based on wallmine.com, Quentin, if you're listening, you can definitely be the director of Roundball Rock Enterprises.
Yeah, you've had a lot of opportunities, and really the directors of Roundball Rock mainly just walk on their hands a lot.
He is, I will say, Quentin F. Dolan is on investor.msgnetworks.com/board/directors. So he is on the board of directors at MSG Networks.
Incredible. I mean, he probably owns a sizable chunk of the company, just personally.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some kind of tax dodge, or weird shady trusts.
Anyway, Sean, what division are we talking about today?
Oh yeah. We're talking about we're going to the Western Conference this time, and we're going to the Southwest. Much like I said last time, there are 6 NBA divisions, same as the 6 passengers who left the island after season 4 of the popular ABC serial Magic Island drama Lost. But which of the Oceanic 6 is the Southwest? It is Hugo Hurley Reyes. He just won the lottery, just like the Pelicans. He's obsessed with the numbers, and it destroys his life, just like Daryl Morey and the Rockets. He bought a chain of chicken restaurants with his lottery winnings, which feels like a very Memphis thing to do. He ends up stuck with a cranky old man who used to be a spy for eternity at the end of the series when he's left with Benjamin Linus, which is just like Spurs fans and Greg Popovich. And he used to be a good leader, but now he's losing it, just like Greg Popovich. Also, killed a guy with a van, just like Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban. So, let's go to the Hurley of the NBA, the Southwest Division.
And I, of course, as always, there are 6 members in the band The Foo Fighters.
Oh, right.
Just like there are 6 divisions in the NBA. And I've been naming which member of every division is which member of the Foo Fighters every episode.
Right.
And I have decided that the Southwest Division is Pat Smear.
Oh.
Used to be a lot better than it is now, is basically what I mean.
Yeah. Man, feels like they used to get it done with fewer guys.
Yeah, isn't it weird there's 6 guys in the Foo Fighters?
Yeah, when you're like, well, who were the Foo Fighters? Well, just Dave Grohl, and then the guy from the Afghan Wigs on one song. And it was like, well, what when they toured? Like 4? Because Dave Grohl still plays all the instruments. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, they're essentially the polyphonic spree at this point.
They have a keyboard player in the band, added in 2017.
I definitely am not familiar enough with late career Foo Fighters to know what songs would get the keyboard treatment.
Anyway, let's start with last year's winner of this division, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
The Houston Rockets. Last year they went 53-29, good for fourth in the West. Beat Utah 4-1, lost to the Warriors 4-2. Probably won that series based on computers. Definitely won the MVP. James Harden was definitely the deserving MVP. Winner. So glad he won that award last year because he deserved it.
Mm-hmm. He won. I only get my NBA news from the Houston Rockets Twitter feed. Sounded like he had a pretty good speech.
They said goodbye to Iman Shumpert's backpack rapping. They said goodbye to the manimal himself, Kenneth Faried, and his
Pride
two
of
moms.
Morehead State, yeah.
Hey, just don't discount Morehead State. They knocked out Rick Pitino that year.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's the greatest Morehead State player ever, right?
He's got to be.
I assume.
And also, of course, they said goodbye to Chris PP3 Paul. The extra 3 stands for ball punching. But never fear, Houston Rockets. You did add some guys to make up for those guys they lost. They're saying hello to Anthony Bennett, who hopefully no longer has sleep apnea.
He definitely still does, though.
Ben McLemore, who's happy not to be on the Grizzlies or Kings again. Thabo Cephalosha, who is happy not to be racially profiled. Watch it, Houston PD.
Thank God. Oh, yeah. For some reason, I was like, well, yeah, Oklahoma City probably fucking sucked, too.
They also, of course, said hello again to Tyson Chandler. Not again. He feels like he's been on this team before.
It does feel like it, doesn't it? Yeah. Like in that era when he was on the Charlotte Hornets, that Morey would have just taken a flyer on him. Yeah.
Back in Texas, old Texas Tyson, that's what they call him. Pew pew. They said hello to Ryan Anderson. Hello again, I guess, to Ryan Anderson, who I've heard rumblings is a huge dick in locker rooms.
Also, they convinced him to give up a bunch of money on his buyout last year so he could go to a team where he would get playing time. And then they did not trade him to such a team.
Right. And then, of course, hello, old friend. That's James Harden. I'm sure that's how he greets Russell Westbrook every time he sees him. Russell Westbrook. Brody's in town. Sean, first question for you about this team, the Houston Rockets. You and I talk about this team constantly. Did they solve what's been wrong with them?
You know, okay, short answer, no. Because I mean, definitely I think Chris Paul coming back would have been worse. Just because there was some kind of unholy synergy between, like, the card counting aesthetic of the organization, but also the constant complaining and, like,
it somehow rubbed off on analytics.
Right,
whining.
Because the Rockets didn't, like, whine like this before, and now it's like, I mean, and it's hard to isolate that it's necessarily Chris Paul, because James Harden is also like that.
It's Chris Paul, dude. It's not James Harden. It's Chris Paul. James Harden's fine. He didn't complain like that before. He would just fall down. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, flopping's fine. I'm into that. I don't like watching it, but, you know, the idea of it I'm okay with.
I'm just worried that introducing Russell Westbrook is not going to like sage out the Chris Paul. It's going to mutate the virus that Chris Paul already left behind in the organization.
I mean, that's certainly happened. What has happened to DeAndre Jordan and possibly Blake Griffin, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
mean, Blake does not seem like he was he was like literally a broken man because of his body, but he does not seem to be like the Pistons did not seem like they were like a train wreck,
but
because of Blake.
Or doesn't anything. Seem happy playing basketball like he used to.
I guess not necessarily. I don't think he's like. I think he's still better being free of Chris Paul.
Oh,
whereas
for sure.
DeAndre seems to be like slowly rolling down a flight of stairs.
Here's a question. Have you decided yet? I guess that's a question for the over-under. We'll move on. Mike D'Antoni. He's been privately fighting with the front office and Tillman Fertitta, our man. Touchdown Tillman, I like to call him.
Yeah.
He's getting fired, right?
Yeah, I think once they leaked that thing that inaccurately stated how much money they were actually offering him in the extension, I think that might have been like the last thing where it's like, okay, well, these guys are just lying. And they already fired his assistant coaches, and they just aren't going to extend him more than a year. Mm-hmm. And that means that I don't know. I don't think they should fire Mike D'Antoni, but they seem to want to fire Mike D'Antoni. And if that's the case, they should just fire Mike D'Antoni.
Agreed. But like, who's going to coach them?
I mean,
an algorithm?
Yeah, I mean, that's the dream, right? What potential head coach is the closest to like a Siri?
I mean, unfortunately, Frank Vogel he sounds like a Siri.
He does sound like a Siri.
Hold on, I gotta put that in right now, don't I?
What's up, Lakers fans? Coach Frank Vogel here.
But he also has a job.
I think it would be tight if they just went for like John Calipari.
That would be hilarious, but no,
it would be
fucking
so
way.
Funny.
Patino, get Patino in town.
Oh my god,
Patino and Tillman would get along, right?
Yeah, because they both have written bullshit books about business leadership.
Well, and Tillman's definitely come in his pants in like 3 seconds, right?
Oh, all the time. like on the set of Billionaire Buyer. The way he walks is very much like someone who's either just come in his pants or is really trying hard to not do it.
All right, my next question is, which player is going to get scapegoated for them losing in the playoffs, if they lose in the playoffs?
Last year, the primary scapegoat was Carmelo Anthony, and then...
Well, that was the midseason scapegoat. Then it was Chris Paul.
Then it was Chris Paul. The year before... I mean, it was kind of like injuries and the refs, I guess, were the scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. Looking at the team, they seem like pretty in on PJ Tucker. I'm going to say it's Gerald Green. He's going to have like a cold streak.
I don't think so. Gerald Green is too loved in Houston. Like, Gerald Green is only playing there and hasn't retired yet because it's Houston. You know what I mean? He refused to talk to any player, to other teams as a free agent. To me, this is an obvious one. It's the only player that seemingly has any value in a trade. It's Clint Capella.
Oh, yeah. It is going to be Clint Capella. Yeah, he's locked in. He's not 30 like those other guys. He seemed like he was mostly fine. Like, didn't he have a couple kind of...
Wouldn't it be hilarious if they traded him for Steven Adams?
Oh my god! And Do you think Steven Adams would be pumped about that, or would he?
No, he'd be so depressed.
He'd have PTSD from Westbrook, right? Well, and that's what's going to happen. Capella's rebound numbers are going to be way down because of Westbrook, and people are going to be like, "Yeah, he is slipping. It's not worth that money."
All right, my final question, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Which player is most likely to read Tillman Fertitta's book?
Ooh, okay. I'll tell you.
For those listeners, for our new listeners,
Oh yeah.
Tillman Fertitta is, of course, the owner of the Houston Rockets. He's written a book called Shut Up and Listen. He's my actual nemesis.
Yes.
Because I once worked at a restaurant he owned called the Bubba Gum Shrimp Company.
You did.
And
yeah.
he would charge us $5 a month for an employee discount. He's a bad
to
person.
Exercise the employee discount costs $5 a month. I have only listened to the foreword.
I haven't even. I've been saving it.
Well, the very beginning, just to give you a little tease, this guy talks about how he had previously covered athletes like Michael Phelps, Tom Brady, and Michael Jordan, and then he's like, Tillman Fertitta, just like those guys, right at the beginning.
Because he's a sociopath.
It's very audacious. Yeah. Tom Brady, Michael Jordan.
Okay, so who's most likely to read the book?
Okay, well, James Harden is 0% likely to read the book.
Russell Westbrook is also 0% likely to read
no
the
chance.
book.
I think PJ Tucker's the most likely one to read the book. I think he's good. Like, I think he just seems like the guy who might do it to be a buddy. You know what I mean? Like, he's not interested, but I think he's like, well, look, man, no one else is going to read this book. I don't want to lie to Tillman when he asks about the copies of the books that he gave to all the members of the team, which he definitely did.
I think it's Eric Gordon. And I'll tell you why. Eric Gordon has made so much money off of the Houston Rockets and Tillman Fertitta, and was depressed for most of his career before this.
So he's... Well, yeah, but he got signed before Tillman was in the picture.
Yeah, but he got this extension. They didn't trade him. You know, I think it's a weird loyalty thing. Also, I think Tillman makes it a stipulation in any new player's contracts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, PJ Tucker's looking for the extension. That's part of what I thought he might.
All right, Sean. Their over-under is 54.5. What do you think?
I think it's under. I do. I mean, all that Harden stuff is going to work forever. I don't particularly think that he and Westbrook are a good fit. You know, there certainly is a possibility for them to complement each other really well. It kind of seems like the team is a little light on shooting as well.
Ryan Anderson's there.
Yeah, Ryan Anderson's
there. Ben McLemore's there.
Anthony Bennett's there. It just... And as much as I like PJ Tucker, I don't know. These guys are like a little bit old. A lot of them have, Harden seems very durable, except that he kind of constantly gets nagging injuries. It seems like a lot of these guys are like that, and I don't know. I just don't see them winning 55 games, I guess. And maybe they're just such a efficient card counting regular season team that they're gonna hit that, but it seems like it's a little too high.
This one's a tough one, because I do think there's a positive thing in getting rid of the Paul of the Paul, you know what I mean? That was over the team, you know what I mean? The dark cloud that was following them around. Who, by the way, do you think Chris Paul's going to put in as head of the union is mad about the fact that they're going to have to list his real height this year?
He's not happy.
the 5'9" dark cloud that was following them around. I think that's a positive. Although they fired that old man, that is the only reason they were good at defense.
Apparently,
Again.
he was their magic feather.
Jeff Old Man Bizdelic. The only reason they were good at defense. 54.5 seems like the right amount of wins to me. That's the problem.
I mean, they did win 53 games last year, and simply by like the availability of these players, it should be better.
I'm going to take the over just because you took the under, but to me it's very close. They're definitely winning 50 games.
Yeah, I think so. I guess I'm just not. I don't know. I think it'll take them a little bit to get used to each other. I know Harden and Westbrook used to play together, but I don't know. I think it'll take a little while to gel, unless it just sort of turns into Harden continuing to do the thing he's been doing for the last couple of years.
I just don't think it's that hard to gel when your offense
that's the thing.
Is watching one of two guys dribble the ball the whole time.
Do you think they're really gonna run like they say they want to?
Who knows? Probably. I don't know. I don't believe anything anybody says in training camp.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that James Harden is at a point in his career where he's necessarily invested himself in like sprinting up and down the court. Not that I'm saying he's out of shape, but like he's been playing in a certain way. And it seems like it's worked pretty well for him. So
all right. Our next team is the San Antonio Spurs. Last year they went 48-34, good for 7th in the West. Lost to Denver 4-3 in round 1. They said goodbye to Marcus Morris, Dante Cunningham, and of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Davis Bertans. They said hello to Marcus Morris.
Before they said goodbye to him.
Rookie Keldon Johnson, Trey Lyles, and Damari Carroll. Now, before I ask you these questions, Sean,
yes,
I'm going to tell you right now. If I gave you, hey, name 20 players in the NBA before this season that are probably going to be Spurs before they retire, don't you think you would have gotten to both Damari Carroll and Trey Lyles?
Oh, yeah. Trey Lyles feels absolutely like a guy who it's like, well, it didn't really work out in Denver, but boy, if he'd had some time with Pop, he'd, yeah. Damari Carroll would have been number 1, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. All right, my first question. Is this team going to win 45 to 50 games every year until Pop retires?
Yeah, I think they are.
What if they have to play Serbia?
Oh, no. Yeah, no, never mind. Unless they turn over the reins to Becky Hammon, nope.
All right. My next question for you is DeJounte Murray, Derek White, or Lonnie Walker IV? Who is your favorite young Spur?
I think I like them all. I think DeJounte Murray is going to be the best one of them, but I like Lonnie Baxter. I like Lonnie Walker the most.
Lonnie Baxter is the guy who went to Maryland who shot a gun at the White House.
Oh, he shot a gun at the White House. That's right.
I mean, it wasn't at the White House. It was just near the White House, but yes.
I love Lonnie Baxter. Like dominant, portly, short college center. Yes. That's what I like. College Glenn Davis? Hell yeah.
I think I like Derek White the best, and I think Derek White's going to be the best one.
It's tight. I like them all.
DeJounte Murray, I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But also kind of feels like a guy who... Look, this might be name stuff. kind of gets... He feels a little bit like a guy who always is about to have a breakout year and then never does. Little Darius Milesy, but a point guard, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, he's still... I agree with I hear what you're saying there, but he also, just turned 23.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
I think
sure.
he's just... I mean, it's just different because he just missed a whole year.
Right. I mean, look, I like him a lot and I'm rooting for him, but if I had to bet on one of these guys, becoming an all-time pop man, it would be Derek White.
Well, Derek White is most likely to, become a Patty Mills or a Gary Neal.
Yeah, but he's like that guy, but with defense.
Yeah, he's good. I just think, I think maybe DeJounte Murray has more of a chance to be, really special.
Oh, for sure. All right, my next question for you, Sean.
Uh-huh.
Who is the Spursiest player not currently on the San Antonio Spurs?
Ooh. I mean, this is a guy that an honorable mention, because I feel like it's not necessarily obvious, but I think he really is Draymond. Draymond would be an excellent Spur, and
you don't think he's a little too fiery for the Spurs?
Kind of, but he'd just be the Duncan guy, and I think it just would be, I don't know. I mean,
Pop doesn't really like having a guy that'll yell back at him, though.
But that's Tim Duncan.
But Tim Duncan, the thing was, he wouldn't yell back at him, though. He was he'd just let him yell at him, and that's what set the tone.
No, he would say, sarcastic things back to him.
Maybe.
He wasn't a whipping boy Don Nelson and Tom Tolman. But I do agree that it seems culturally not a fit, but I think those guys
the
would
game
really
for sure.
I think it would really click. But no, obviously Draymond is not the Spursiest guy. Boy.
I have two. Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Willie and Juancho Hernangomez.
Oh, both?
They're both just Spursy as hell. You know what I mean? In different ways.
I mean, I kind of see them as sort of frustrating Pop,
Yeah, but they fit the, Davis Bertans, Marco Bellinelli roles, perfectly. Weird Euros with crazy tattoos who look weird, you know what I mean? But are, also fun. The fun Euro, that's always a Spurs guy. Fabricio, and Willie Hernangomez in particular, is if Fabricio Alberto shot threes.
I just don't think I agree that visually, I just don't think that Juancho's game is very Spursy, because he doesn't really pass or anything.
Mm-hmm. That's true,
and he's kind of a bad shooter.
But also, Rudy Gay was a bad shooter who didn't pass too for
then he got
thousands of years.
Rudy Gay being blind for the first 10 years of his NBA career is something they should have made a 30 for 30 about.
The only problem is he didn't actually get that much better after the first the LASIK. You know what I mean? His shooting got worse, if I remember right.
I think it got a little bit better, but not that much better. Not as much better as you'd think, because testament to muscle memory.
But yeah, we should explain that story probably.
Oh yeah.
When Rudy Gay was in Toronto, they found out he was blind, legally blind.
Yeah, really, really bad.
He literally could not see the rim, he said, and thought that was normal.
Uh-huh.
And he got LASIK surgery in the offseason one year, and I was like, oh my god, this is the year for Rudy Gay. This is where he finally becomes the best player in the NBA. And then he was just a little bit better at shooting, but worse at everything else. And then the Raptors traded him and then made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, and finally, the most important San Antonio Spurs question. Is this the year where the Coyote finally gets imprisoned for his crimes?
I'll tell you this. if the favorite son of El Paso, Texas, Beto O'Rourke, the skateboarding, the Poochie of the Democratic primary, if he comes out as strongly against the Coyote as he has against guns, I think my calves are going to cramp a little bit because I'm going to be jumping on that train.
Here's the thing about that, though. If he were to do that, he becomes Texas's Harvey Dent. And the Coyote is, of course, Texas's the Joker.
That's true.
You know what I learned about the Spurs Coyote, by the way, the other day?
Please.
Jake Flores told me this. Comedian
bad boy and comedian.
Yeah, Ice. Ice was at his house at one time. He told me the guy who was the first Spurs Coyote, the first Coyote, was a science man or an engineer, and he actually invented the T-shirt cannon. So Beto would not like the Coyote because he's inventing guns.
High artillery. I've seen where that leads. I've been to a Knicks game and seen their T-shirt howitzers, and it's disturbing.
The only guy that can stop a Spurs Coyote with a gun, with a T-shirt gun, is, of course, the Phoenix Gorilla with 2 T-shirt guns.
God, that would be a good show, Joey.
All right, their over-under's 47.5. What's it gonna be?
Look, my heart says no, and then my head says they win 48 games every year. They're going to win 48 games. You're going to look and be like, how'd it happen? And it's like, wow, DeMar DeRozan has mid-range gravity, and their defense is surprisingly good. And, you know, they are... You look at the roster, and it's like, they don't really have any bad players.
Is this the most boring Spurs team in a while, though?
Yeah, like, it was weird how you look at their transactions and you're like, not a lot happened.
I mean, Davis Bertans was really good last year, I thought.
He shot a very high percentage.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that like, you know, now that Marcus Morris stabbed them in the back, that closes the door on Draymond to San Antonio, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like they would have preferred to not lose Davis Bertans for no reason.
Yeah.
To me, that's what I would think. How did he shoot? He did shoot 43% on threes last year. He played 21 minutes. Still not really sure if he's good, but damn, that's some sharp.
He was
shooting.
good for them, is what I mean, and like they kind of didn't replace that, is what I'm saying.
He played way more minutes than I thought he did. It just seems like they're going to be a little bit small. Like they have a lot of guards.
I mean, you know what? I actually could see Trey Lyles replacing that. I'm still a Trey Lyles believer.
I also believe in him, and also a guy that's actually also younger than you think. I think is that right?
Much younger. Yeah. He was the youngest guy.
Was he like the youngest guy in the draft?
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he's going to turn 24 at the beginning of the season.
Well, he's dead. So yeah. Or no, he's got a year.
3
years.
3 years. He seems like a guy that is gonna get a chance if he can kind of figure shit out. But he's just sort of been blocked everywhere else. He's always been on a team with a lot of other forwards.
I am taking the under, I think. And I'm gonna pay for it. But it's not much under. I still think they're definitely going to be well above 500, but...
Right.
48 wins seems like a lot for this team.
It does, but then I look at last year and I'm like, how did they win 48 games last year?
It just... the West seems so hard this year. I actually wonder if everyone is going under in the West this year.
Mm-hmm. If it's just like everyone's too confident because they're like, these guys are great, and then you just aren't thinking enough about, the teams they have to play all the time. Because there's only like 2 really bad teams in the West, right? The Suns and Grizzlies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But at least the Grizzlies are going to be fun, and the Suns, I think, are going to be better.
Yeah, so there's not even like a free win factory.
I mean, I think the Grizzlies probably are, because rookie teams with that many young guys always.
No,
lose.
they should be bad, but they're and actually they want to be one of the 6 worst teams in the league. They're going to be bad.
Yeah, I'm going to watch them a lot on League Pass. I think
teams. That's just compared to how the East still is, where it's like, well, Atlanta's kind of still not trying. The Knicks are really bad, you know.
All right, let's talk about the next team. The New Orleans Pelicans. Last year they went 33-49, good for 13th in the West, and they lost to Clutch Sports in the offseason. Mm-hmm. They said goodbye to Cheikh Diallo, Solomon Hill's contract, mm-hmm. Ian Clark, Kevin Durant's friend, Elfrid Payton, and his he left his old hair behind, though. Julius Randle and Anthony the Brow Davis. Mm-hmm. They said hello to Derek Favors, the hologram himself. Mm-hmm. Rookies Jackson Hayes, Nickel Alexander Walker, Josh Hart, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and Zion Williamson.
Oh,
and of course, they're saying hello. Their biggest free agency signing, JJ Redick, who's finally secret familyless after he left them in the East.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. New life, embracing voodoo.
All right, Sean. My first question for you: Are you worried that all of these Lakers players are going to block your favorite player in the NBA, Etuan Moore?
Yeah, I am. It's a concern. He could be counted on to fill in at the 2. 2's pretty crowded now. Even though Etuan Moore is a great fit with any team and probably would help Zion's development more, they I'm not even really criticizing them for this, but they need to see what they have with Brandon Ingram. So, unfortunately, we're going to get a little Etuan less this year, Joey.
I'm sorry, Sean.
I'm sorry I said that about his name.
Here's my question for you, though. How are these Lakers going to do in a new city? We've heard so much about them for players that have done so little, because all this league does is talk about the Los Angeles Lakers, no matter mm-hmm. what.
It's weird. I like the worse Lonzo actually does in the NBA, the more I kind of believe in him. Mm-hmm. Because when he came out of college, I was a little suspicious. And then he was like really struggling with his shot. But I kind of like, he just feels like getting out of LA is like the best thing that could have happened to him.
Yes.
Because his shoes were destroying his body.
Mm-hmm.
And his father was destroying his psyche. And now he gets a chance to be like a normal young player. And like, Kobe's not going to be lurking around.
I think he's going to have
snake salesman.
I think he's going to have a huge year. I'm serious. I think I think it is very possible that Lonzo and Drew Holiday might be the best defensive backcourt in the NBA next year.
I mean, I'm sure they still don't really know how all these guys are going to fit together necessarily. I think they're probably like, okay, so their starting lineup is like, who is going to start for the team, I guess?
Well, Derek Favors at center.
Uh-huh.
Zion at
Williams
power
at
forward. Brandon
Okay.
Ingram at small forward.
Uh-huh.
Drew Holiday at the 2 and Lonzo at the 1.
Okay, they're not going to start JJ Redick.
I don't think so, right?
I kind of thought they would start JJ Redick, but again, I don't know if I'm right about that or not. Like I thought they might bring Lonzo off the bench and start Holiday and Redick.
I mean, I thought the idea that they sort of figured out that Rondo year where they busted the Blazers' ass was that, like, Drew is actually one of the best 2 guards in the league if you play him at 2.
No, it's great, but I just think he's just a great player.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
So I just the thing I would worry about if you are playing that lineup is that you don't have that much shooting.
True.
With these guys. So and Zion might be a pretty good outside shooter. It's hard to know what to expect, and maybe Ingram will actually be a good shooting threat too.
Yeah, right. I have no faith in Brandon Ingram. I'm going to be honest here.
I do think it's good for all 3 of these guys
Yes,
that
absolutely.
they got a new place. The only thing that sucks for Josh Hart is that it seems like he's like the 6th guard.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's not like a terrible problem to have, like having too many guys and having to figure out where they are.
We should also probably point out that Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Jackson Hayes were, like, very clearly 2 of the better guys in Summer League. I don't think Jackson Hayes is going to get a lot of run this year, but
No.
might. Nah was really good.
I think you're right too. That's why it's like I feel bad that Josh Hart. I still think he is a pretty useful player, but this is like not really the spot for him.
Yeah.
Ideally, just because it's like, there's guys older than him and younger than him squeezing him.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I feel but I guess I still don't want to necessarily give up on Brandon Ingram, but I don't know. I've seen him play enough,
I just think it's very strange that the times he's looked good in the NBA have been the times where the teams have been so bad or so injured he's had to be the primary ball handler. And he scores a lot doing that. But he's not actually good enough to be the primary ball handler on a team that wins any games in the NBA. So, like, I don't know what he is. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know who he reminds me of because of what you were talking about
Who?
there? Harrison Barnes.
That's not bad.
I mean, they aren't like the same kind of guy, but Harrison Barnes is a guy where it's like, he will get some buckets if there's no one else there to get buckets.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, he's still very young, but just.
I mean, maybe he learned to shoot. Who knows? Lonzo's shot looks better. I don't usually care about those workout videos, but there was one today, and I was like, "Hey, this looks more normal."
I think it's very tough to just adapt to LeBron as a really young player at this point too.
Sure,
because not even just that LeBron really likes guys he's comfortable with and always know what spot to be in. It's just extra weird when you're like 12 or 13 years younger than LeBron,
All right, Sean, my next question. How good is Zion going to be in year 1?
Ooh. I think he's going to be pretty good, but I think he's going to be pretty good. I think he's going to be the rookie of the year, I really do.
I mean,
I know that
seems
not
like kind of a shoe-in.
That's like not a very bold choice, but he just seems like I'm expecting him to have like a Blake Griffin style rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
He's just gonna like dunk a lot, and looking at the roster, the thing that does jump out is I think these guys could be really good defensively.
Yeah. The guy we didn't mention, too, is that weird Euro guy they signed. Nicolo Melli, you remember?
Well, they drafted him. Is he coming over this year? I don't think he is.
I could have sworn they signed him, not drafted him. Yeah, he was
their
at Media Day.
Oh.
He's 28. They didn't draft him.
Oh, that's. I'm thinking of the Brazilian guy.
Yeah.
The Italian dude who's real handsome.
But wasn't he
I
like the
guess
best
so.
player in Europe last year? I think he was.
I mean, he could. I didn't remember because he is not on this 13 deep depth chart I'm looking at.
I'm just saying.
He was all EuroLeague second team in 2017.
Yeah, but he's 28.
He is. He'd been playing for Fenerbahce.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how you say
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Fenerbahce. And he was the top scorer in the EuroLeague finals 2 years ago. And he scored the most points in a EuroLeague finals game since 1985.
Mm-hmm.
However, that is 28 points. It's just, I don't know enough about the weird differences in the Euro game because every time I look at somebody and they're like, yeah, Luka Doncic, he was just dominating. And then you look at his stats and it was like, wow, 8.7 points a game.
All right, Sean. I think Zion's going to be Rookie of the Year. It's pretty obvious. Let's answer the actual most important question.
Mm-hmm.
Which of these Pelicans is most likely to get fat off gumbo, po' boys, and unlimited alcohol 24 hours a day?
Yeah, that is going to be a challenge. Weird. I thought about Derek Favors, and I think Derek Favors is also going to have a really good year this year, just because he has a chance to actually be the best unrestricted free agent next summer. Like I think he.
I think there's an obvious answer to this question, and you might not. You just might not remember who's on this team.
Let me look one more time. Maybe I'm not remembering who's on this team. I think there's definitely a Josh Hart weight gain chance. Let me look at this roster again and see who I'm missing. That's obvious.
He was a very high pick not very long ago.
Yeah, but he's a vegan now.
I'm sorry?
Jahlil Okafor?
Jahlil Okafor is a vegan now?
Yeah, that was part of his comeback.
Okay, comeback. Well, then, my answer is Nicolo Melli, the 28-year-old Italian they signed.
Yeah, who apparently just came there to party.
I love when an old person from Europe signs in the NBA. I fucking love him.
I definitely thought he had a better resume than he did.
They have a guy, according to the ESPN team roster, Sean, named Cavell Big B Williams.
It's incredible. An LSU center, and he looks to be pretty beefy.
I mean, okay, that's the answer, right?
Cavell Big Boy Williams.
Yeah.
That's your name now.
That is clearly who's getting fat off gumbo. All right.
Yeah. But I do think Josh Hart, definitely, we could see some, depression hurricanes in his future.
Over under 38.5 wins, Sean. Is this the first team to have a higher win total the year after they trade their most famous player ever?
Yeah. I mean, that, you see that in baseball, but not in basketball, really. I can't even think of that happening. Well, it's possible. I mean, it's possible the Spurs did that with Kawhi, but that doesn't really count.
I don't think the Spurs did do that with Kawhi.
Well, weren't they like the 8th seed?
It doesn't matter. 38.5. We gotta get going here.
Yeah. Sorry, they had the same record.
Mm-hmm.
They got a game better. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say over. I don't. It seems low. It seems like it's too low. I think this team, like, obviously there's a lot of unpredictability and unproven guys, but this feels like a 41 win team to me.
It really becomes yeah, I'm going to say slightly over. Yeah, I'm going to take the over too. But I actually think it's close. 38-40 sounds about right to me. They're still really young.
It's very volatile. It's just I think Jrue Holiday is really good.
That was my thing.
I'm more picking in favor of Jrue than I am picking in favor of Zion.
Right.
And my belief in Lonzo, and just that I think JJ Redick will be really helpful.
I think he's old. I think JJ Redick's toast. I'm saying this right now. I think JJ Redick is toast.
He's done.
He wasn't very good for the Sixers last year. And this team's going to be asking him to do a whole lot more.
I don't think they are, though.
I mean,
he doesn't have to play defense.
That's true.
I think by a little bit into the season, he'll be coming off the bench for sure.
All right, the Memphis Grizzlies. Last year they went 33-49. Good for 12th in the West. They jumped up to the number 2 pick.
Mm-hmm.
They said hello. They said goodbye to Tyler Dorsey, Tyler Zeller, Tyler Parsons, Delon Wright, Joakim Noah, CJ Miles, Justin Holiday, and, of course, Mr. Mike Conley.
Mm-hmm.
They said hello to college stat monster John Conchar,
mm-hmm.
D'Anthony Melton, unicyclist and Burning Man enthusiast Miles Plumlee, man banned from the first NBA player I can remember who's getting sued for getting his baby high, Josh Jackson.
Oh my God.
Jay Crowder, Grayson Allen, Tyus Jones, Andre Iguodala, Brandon Clark, and Ja Morant.
Mm-hmm.
Can we, before I ask any of these questions we wrote down already, talk about how is it possible that a team can have that many players?
Right. Like too many left, too many remain. Like don't they, isn't there some cut day? The season's almost here and Memphis has 32 players on their active roster.
Yeah, man, I don't even know. Well, anyway, let's talk about Jay Crowder's fiance.
Yes. Jay Crowder proposed. Well, announced that he did propose. He announced that he was proposing to his girlfriend. Is this tweet still up, Joey?
No, he deleted it immediately.
Jay Crowder, generally very all caps, enthusiasm, positivity, Twitter, and here's a tweet from a couple days ago. Wow, sitting here in awe. I'm about to start year 8 of my career. I'm embracing this moment and excited for the challenges and obstacles ahead. Truly thankful! ! Praying hands, and then he signs it 99, his number.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't always so positive. I just want to find the exact tweet, Joey. Nobody archived this? Anyway, he announced that he was going to propose to his girlfriend, and then tweeted that she said no.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny Ainge was tempted to trade him again. Now, last year, apparently he accused his girlfriend of cheating with Robert Covington.
Mm-hmm.
That guy really can do it all. Okay, this is okay. So here's the tweet is in all caps, and it's just, "I proposed last night, ellipsis, she said no," and then just the most disappointed, not crying, but embarrassed and sad emoticon. Something about it being in all caps makes it really, really good. It's not funny.
No. I mean, it's hilarious. It's funny. Sorry, I was trying to figure something out for our next team. It's very funny. My next question, Sean. Sorry, I was out of it for a second. Memphis.
Oh, he accused Robert Covington of being the father of his girlfriend's baby.
That's weird. I don't like that at all.
No.
Memphis is tanking, Sean.
Yes.
Their first round pick is only protected 1 through 6. Can you improve a team after you lose 2 Tylers, though?
I mean, it's hard not to improve when you've done that. If you're a baseball team, it can go the other way. But yeah, losing a Chandler and 2 Tylers is tremendous. Now, granted, they added a Grayson and a Miles, so some of that balances out.
Here's my question. This team's going to be really fun, right?
It seems like it's a lot of fun guys. John Morant should be really fun.
JJJ is super fun. Brandon Clark is the most Anthony Randolph kind of guy possible. You know what I mean?
He's also a little bit of a throwback because I think he's just a real rebounding beast.
Yeah.
I mean, Grayson Allen will be fun in how watching King Joffrey was fun.
The only problem is Jay Crowder has never played on a team I've enjoyed watching play basketball.
Yeah, that's true. They're gonna trade him.
All right. Here's a factoid. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Vince Carter is older than the Grizzlies' coach, GM, and owner.
It seems like they should let him run the team. Now that I've heard that.
And my last question, Sean: will Memphis be able to ride the momentum of their summer league title to a return to 12th place?
I'm going to say no, because 12th place is going to be competitive in the Western Conference.
Yeah. Their over-under's 27.5. What do you think?
Oh, too high. Under.
Yeah, I think it's going to be under, too.
If they're sniffing this over-under in March, they're just going to give, Valanciunas the last month of the season off.
All right,
there's no face saving here.
Mm-hmm. And our final team in the division, Sean, is, of course, the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, yeah.
They said goodbye to Trey Burke, Salah Mejri, and Kostas Antetokounmpo, therefore giving up any and all opportunity that they sign Giannis 2 years from now. But they said hello to Boban Marjanovic, Seth Curry, and Delon Wright. All right, Sean, my first question about the Dallas Mavericks for you is this the year Mark Cuban finally has you Epsteined? And by that I mean murdered for constantly talking about how he's a sex criminal.
I do, and in song, which I think is worse. I think he's too soft though. He's Mark Cuban. He's somebody that maybe pays somebody to try to do you in.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Mark Cuban is absolutely a reach across the aisle guy too.
Mm-hmm. Right, he's a guy who would run either as a Democrat or a Republican, depending how he felt that day.
Yeah, like if
for
I got
president.
confronted, if I got confronted by Mark Cuban, he would like let me. He would like buy me a beer. He's just like, because he's not going to hurt me because I'm not a woman.
All right, my next question for you, Sean. It's a bummer that all these fun players are on this team, right?
Yeah, I feel like I wish Luka was on a different team.
I wish Seth Curry was on a different team. I wish Boban was on a different team.
Yeah, it's a lot of like.
I wish Delon Wright was on a better team. I mean, because I think this team might be pretty good. So I don't mean nice better,
additions.
As in at basketball. I mean at morality, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. They made some moves that should be really helpful too. Like I think DeLon Wright is a really good addition.
Yeah, and they got that 7-footer who has feet problems. That always works out.
Mm-hmm. Right. Classic Mavs. I don't know why they were. I mean, I guess I do know why. I'm not sure why logically they were just like throwing second round draft picks away this year, though.
I don't know, because you can't give Rick Carlisle too many people to yell at.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. You gotta keep a Dorian Finney-Smith on the roster at all times.
All right, Sean, their over-under is 41.5. What do you say? Can Maxi Kleber, Tim Hardaway Jr., Kristaps Porzingis? We should talk about Kristaps, even though I don't want to, because he's gross.
Yeah. I mean, it's just weird because, it's always weird when something terrible like that is announced, and then nothing happens, and then the NBA pretends like they're investigating something. Yeah, but he still just has a pending rape charge, right?
I think that's. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know, or a cop. Thank God, I would never be a cop. Mainly because I'm not strong enough to push the working class around. But let's talk about all that aside. We should talk about the basketball part of it for a second. Is he going to be healthy?
I mean, the signs are not great because of the shape of his body and the empirical evidence we have about him. But at the same time, I kind of wonder, like looking at somebody like Bill Walton and just thinking, like, what if, like, really early on he had just taken 18 months off?
Right. But also, Bill Walton, even as an old man, had one really good year, and it's like, what if this is the one really good year? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's mainly just that a lot of things, like, I would like Kristaps to be really good. Statistics seem to say he's good. He seems like he has the path of someone who is not going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially just those, like, tangential things where it was like, he went back to Latvia and he got beat up.
Yeah.
Or something, like just, like, stuff that are really Andres Biedrins-y.
It's true. Very Andres Biedrins-y. Where you're like,
this guy doesn't know how to live in the world. And, now, granted, there's also stuff you hear from the Knicks where it's like they just didn't even open the gym for him.
Right.
And the gym's like 30 miles away from where everybody lives. And so, yeah, like anybody getting out of the Knicks, it's kind of hard to judge them. It's like you almost need like a statistical translation like it's a Euro League or something. You
know? But yeah, all right. Over under, Sean. 41.5.
41.5. Under. West is just too good. Also, I don't... Like, I do think Luka is really good, but I'm still not sure that this is the team. You know? They're still kind of dealing with the aftershocks of making such a blockbuster deal for Porzingis.
I'm going to take the over because Boban rocks. And also just to disagree. They feel like a 42-win team to me.
Yeah. So do you think they can make the playoffs?
No, I don't think 42 wins is enough to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
I think we're
Gamblers,
looking at a 46 win team being the 8th seed.
The Gamblers are calling the line 46.5. They have the Blazers. The Blazers have the 8th highest projected win-loss, yeah. Whereas in the East, I think that would be the 4 or 5 seed.
Right. Okay. Well, you've heard enough of us talking about dumb shit like the Coyote instead of actual basketball. But luckily for you, we here at Roundball Rock do know two guys who know a thing or two about the ins and outs, the analytics, the numbers side of basketball to give you their team.
This is Slammed Up.
Here's Slammed
with Brett
Up
Sampson and
with
Randy
Brett
Ledoux.
Sampson and Randy Ledoux.
Analytics, friendship, efficiency, and promo codes. These guys are fucking dorks.
Welcome to another edition of Slammed Up, the analytical podcast within the larger Roundball Rock podcast. These guys are more into jokes and horsing around, making little comments, whereas Slammed Up is about analytics and friendship and predictions and...
No horseplay!
No horseplay. No horsing around. That's
A
what
horse stepped on me once.
Wait, were you okay?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was too small. I fell between its shoe.
Ooh.
Its shoe and its hoof.
Ooh. Well, with me as often is Randy Ledoux. Randy Ledoux.
That's me!
How are you doing? Now, the last time we spoke, you were working for you joined the the Andrew Yang gang.
Yeah, that didn't pan out this week.
Yeah.
I'm actually working for Julian Castro now,
Whoa.
whoever that is.
I forgot he was in the race. Did I ever tell you
I
about
don't
the
even
time?
know what he looks like.
Did I ever tell you I was in a Andrew Yang gangbang once?
I'd rather not talk about that.
All right. Well, just let me just say that UBI did not stand for universal basic income back then.
Here's a funny thing I'll tell you about Julian Castro. I had a meeting with him yesterday, and it's like I can't even... I was talking to him for an hour, and yet I can't remember a single thing he said or even what he looked like. It's like I lost time.
I'm trying
like an alien abduction.
I'm trying to picture him in my head, and I just started picturing Julius Randle after 2 seconds. I know that's not correct, but I couldn't tell you what his job was before deciding to run for president. You have a background in politics, though, so you know what he did before, right?
No, I don't know a single thing about him.
Is he?
And I was in a meeting with him for an hour.
You know, this is a possible. You worried about getting a buzz killed here?
No, I'm
the MTV sketch show Buzzkill.
No,
a lot of silly pranks and lying to people.
I'm worried it's more like a, as many of our listeners know, I'm a bit of a Whovian, a big Doctor Who head.
You are.
And it's a little bit like in one of the Matt Smith seasons. There were these aliens called the Silence, and the idea was that they existed
you're
and were
going to need
around
to
us all
stop
the
talking
time.
right now on this podcast. Like, this is analytics, and it is for nerds, but this is I'm I'm sorry, I want to beat you to death with my bare hands when you start
But
talking
I'm
about
a
that show.
Hoovian.
Oh,
I have a piece of celery pinned to my lapel.
what is
as we
happening
speak.
right now? This is just... you know what? I'm going to have to throw in an ad read here just to get the... Oh,
I'm wearing a scarf,
This
just
is
like one of the
terrible.
doctors, just like the fifth
Is it
doctor.
made out of a
but it's actually
daffodil?
a gum wrapper.
oh, all right. Well, today, this episode of Slammed Up is sponsored by Jordan Farmers Only, the dating site where you can meet former Andalou FA's great Jordan Farmar. You can also match with friends of Jordan Farmar, family of Jordan Farmar, and members of his entourage. Although Luke Walton has been banned from the site, so you can safely browse Jordan Farmers Only. Again, no Luke Walton allowed, no Smush Parker allowed. Best of all, you can only swipe right on Jordan Farmers Only because, as you know, Jordan Farmer can only go left. Someone should make a joke and an ad read about that. Yeah, that's better. You can get your first trial subscription to Jordan Farmers Only with promo code CBA Provision, formerly known as the Allen Houston Rule. We talk about that all the time.
So much.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I talk about that in my dreams.
Whoa. Randy, what are your dreams like? I thought you didn't sleep.
I mean, I believe in power napping. I
Mhm.
take 47-second naps.
Oh.
That's 47-second naps throughout the day.
Whoa. Oh, okay. Well, that...
And I have vivid dreams.
Oh.
I dream of being a normal-sized man
Mm-hmm.
watching Doctor Who episodes.
Okay, you need to stop
What?
that right now. You need to shut your tiny little mouth. We're losing all our listeners at this point.
What can I say? I'm a hoo-ha!
I guess you are a hoo-ha. All right, let's move. I'll shove you on your hoo-ha, you son of a gun. I'm really high right now, Randy. I have to admit. I usually am pretty sober on these podcasts, but I have a daily mescaline box that comes to my house. I can assemble it myself, and I just couldn't help myself this time. But let's go on to our first team, the Houston Rockets. Now, I might have to recuse myself from this discussion of the Houston Rockets because,
Why?
I have a business relationship with the owner of the Houston Rockets, Tillman Fertitta.
Oh, tell me more.
I got into a very lucrative investment after the success of the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, based on number one box office hit of 1994, Forrest Gump. We are going into a restaurant group. That was part of the reason I made my food and legal brothel tour of North America this year, scouting for recipes. This is going to be based on 2019's number one film franchise, and it's called Eric Selvig's Shawarma Shack. As you know, Eric Selvig is the scientist who helps out Thor, and shawarma is what they eat in one of the most funny, just gut-busting scenes in cinematic history in the movie The Avengers. When the Avengers...
Anytime you can name a food that white people don't know what it's called, always funny.
And then that moment when they're eating it silently, oh boy, I laughed a lot. I laughed a lot, Randy. I have to say, I got a chuckle out of it.
And that's weird because you don't understand comedy.
No, I don't. But something about those guys eating that weirdo food, right? Right. That's not our food. That's their food, and they're eating it silently. It's after the credits. I really enjoyed that. I really did enjoy that. So, so I think we're going to be co-investors in Eric Selvig's Shawarma Shack. It's going to have all kinds of Thor 2 The Dark World memorabilia, trivia questions about Thor 2 The Dark World. Obviously, that is the main subject of Avengers Endgame.
I would say that out of all of the Marvel Universe movies, Thor 2 The Dark World is almost as good as like the worst episode of Doctor Who. It's actually very similar to an episode of Doctor Who.
Oh my god, Randy, you're going to need to stop this right now because
It's
if
like
any
Doctor
kind of
Who
bad
with a
buzz gets
smaller
out
budget.
of this, I will feed you to a Dalek. I will.
Ooh, they're robots. They don't eat.
Anyway, the Houston Rockets, the one thing I will say is that it is time for them to get away from a lot of the mistakes that they'd made that have been plaguing them through their playoff disasters. They need to start running the offense through the number 2 offensive player in the entire NBA, as determined by the ultimate statistical rating, offensive rating, Clint Capella. So that's who they should be playing at point guard this year.
See, I disagree. Clint Capella has proven that he can't switch anything. And Russell Westbrook has the ability to switch. Like the profile of being the shooting profile and the defensive profile of a center. So I think they should play Russell Westbrook at center.
Well, yeah, and then play Clint Capella at point guard.
To
take advantage of his
Clint
offense.
Capella. No, you bench Clint Capella.
Oh no, you give him the ball
No
every time
basketball
down.
players should be over the height of 6'9".
Well, what about a podcast host? I mean, I'm only taller than 6'9" when I'm sitting down. I'm not that tall when I'm standing up, but my bones are strange, Randy.
I don't like the fact that you had to get a special mic to record.
Yeah, I have a special chair. It's
In
kind of
fact,
like
if I
I'm
could
like
get a
sitting in a
normal
tea
sized,
bag.
if I could get a normal sized podcast host, I would in a second.
Wait, what? Hold on a second. I mean, you have a weirder size than me, Randy.
What?
Mm.
I'm 3.
I mean, I'm not even sure what measurement that is. 3 inches or
It changes.
okay, all right,
Sometimes it's inches.
yeah.
Sometimes it's millimeters.
Mm-hmm. So
Sometimes I'm as tall as a staple.
that's like I don't even know how to respond to that, Randy. Okay, well I will make my prediction for the season. Clint Capella at point guard, 82
for a
and
fan of the MCU, you sure have a problem with someone who can change his size from small to smaller.
Mm-hmm. But it's imperceptible to me at this point, especially as far away as I am from the table every time I see you.
How's the weather up there, freak?
Whoa. I need you to watch your rainy little mouth right now. Or I will bring down the thunder on top of you, and I'm not talking about just an ill-equipped team with no spacing and a state that has callously turned their back on the future of energy, fracking. So,
well, we'll talk about them next division.
we will talk about them next division. I'm trying to get out this sentence. If you would shut your tiny, little, disgusting, alien, non-specified electron experiment ruin face, just say, Clint Capella at point guard, Rockets 82-0. Moving on to our next team, the San Antonio Spurs. I have a quick take on this team. Coach Greg Popovich is the worst coach in NBA history. He should be fired and possibly executed.
Agree!
Also, DeMar DeRozan is garbage. He only shoots from mid-range. I want to take him to a gun range and kill him.
You're speaking to the choir here.
Mhm.
Preach.
All right.
Yes! Yes,
and
Queen!
Who else wants to speak to the choir is our new sponsor, Dijonnaise. Now, when I'm doing live commentary for 5 or 6 NBA games at the same time, which we do every night on the Slammed Up 8chan feed, sometimes I work up a powerful hunger. As you know, my metabolism is extremely fast due to my large frame and constant 102-degree body temperature. So, when I make a sandwich, I slather that bad boy with Dijonnaise, the spreadable condiment from former All-NBA Developmental League Honorable Mention Team member Dijon Thompson. Like Dijon Thompson in college, this glides across the bread, finishing in your mouth with a satisfying explosion of flavor. It'll bounce along your tongue just like Dijon himself, bouncing around the world of international basketball. And best of all, it's low calorie, so it'll protect your body composition. What's it made of? No one knows. But let me tell you, it definitely does not contain any mustard or actual mayonnaise. All I know is that it is definitely not vegan. You can get your first sample tube of Dijonnaise with promo code LOOSESTOOL. It's easy to remember. We talk about it all the time on the podcast. And make sure to store it in a dehumidified container or you will not like the results. Trust me, Brett Slamson. All right, moving on to our third team in the Southwest Division. We've got the New Orleans Pelicans. Look, I'm very excited about their offseason because of their acquisition of Derek Favors.
Why is that?
Well, I've my belief that NBA players are inferior to computers and machines, and Derek Favors is our first cyber basketball player, a hologram made flesh, a Pinocchio of the 21st century, literally a 21st century digital boy.
There's a very interesting Doctor Who episode about cyborgs.
Oh, yeah, actually talk about this. Well, I'm curious about this one.
Well, there's this evil race called the Cybermen.
Mm-hmm. I used to be a Cyberman when I was in college, and I'm talking about masturbating with a stranger on the internet anonymously.
Okay, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
All right. Well, the other thing that they need to do in New Orleans is it is time to trade Zion Williamson for draft picks.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Assets, 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 assets.
It's like buying a car. The moment you start the car, it loses all its value, and you just might as well sell it for scrap. That's what the New Orleans Pelicans should do. Trade Zion Williamson for whatever you can get, or attempt to clone him, and then sell him off like the puppies of Udonis Haslam's prize dog, which I do have one of.
Question: how repeatable is Lonzo Ball's shooting motion?
It seems like it's like the least repeatable thing. It's like the word Voldemort in terms of how repeatable it is.
Don't say that.
Oh, sorry. I mean, he should not be muggled. Is that right? Is that what you say?
I'm so tired.
What? Why are you? You do seem like you're very loose today, Randy.
You made me show up for this thing at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's when winners get going. I myself was unfortunately derailed by a phone party and a speaking engagement with some Proud Boys, but yeah, you that's good. That's when winners get there. That's what
I missed 9 of my naps.
How are you feeling? You a little punchy there, buddy?
Not good.
Yeah. Well, the reason, as you know, Jimmy Butler shows up at 3:30 for workouts, and that's because Mark Wahlberg shows up at the gym at 2:45 a.m. And at this point in his career,
but that doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, well, he goes to bed now at about 4:15 in the afternoon. But
Jimmy Butler?
No, Mark Wahlberg.
I was gonna say that's game time, baby.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler's going to have a sleepy season, but the most important thing is that he's proving people wrong and already forcing his young impressionable teammates to be showing up at the gym at 3:30 a.m., which is right about the time that Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins really get going in Fortnite.
You can't see this, but I'm doing one of those dances right now.
Oh, I bet you should film it. Try to make it go.
The one that's like the Running Man and they clap in front. That's what I'm doing.
Ooh, can you make it go viral?
No, I'd have to put something next to me for size, so
right.
People would know how small I am.
Yeah, like when you find a fossil. I understand that.
Yeah, I'd have to put like a quarter next to me or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that would involve me lifting a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But because I missed 12 naps today, I don't think I could do it.
I feel bad about it, but you know what? We'll push it back tomorrow. You can show up at 3:35.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. Speaking of sirs, let's talk about this next team featuring two of the classiest men in the entire National Basketball Association. They are my blood brothers. I am, of course, talking about Haralabob Voulgaris and owner Mark Cuban, princes of men, personal behavior unimpeachable, and just very pleasant in person and on social media, and especially on Instagram. I love this team. I love these guys. Randy, what do you think?
Boban intimidates me. I don't like his body type. He reminds me of a certain sexual deviant that I know who yells at me all the time and who's invested all my money and kidnapped my son.
Like a giant. You have a son?
We're never talking about that again.
Oh, gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't like this team.
What if you did one of those Fortnite dances, but you're on one of Boban's gigantic hands?
I think people would just think it was CGI.
I guess that's right. Well,
anyway, I think this team will win 4 games this year.
Well, I think they're better off if they win 4 games this year. Because,
that's true.
This is the year to tank. They got their draft pick back. They've got to keep Kristaps Porzingis on the run to keep him away from the law. That's very important to do, especially with if you're trying to hide and you're trying to disguise your identity. The key thing is you can't just have one safe house. You got to keep things on the run. It's going to be hard for him to go on road trips and avoid subpoenas or Latvian attackers. Or, Ghislaine Maxwell. They used to date for a while. He was pretty into Cougars. But, I think if they win more than 4 games, they've made a mistake this year.
Yeah, the Dallas Mavericks kind of are like the Jeffrey Epstein's plane of basketball teams, aren't they?
And you're sort of like, wow, I didn't expect that guy spent some time there. Wow, I forgot about that.
They're kind of like the movie The Usual Suspects of basketball teams.
Yeah, but like
because it starred Kevin Spacey and was produced by Harvey Weinstein and was directed by Bryan Singer.
Oh my god, that's a triple crown of molestation. I actually once did hit. I hosted a pop-up event, an underground pool that was also called the Triple Crown of Molestation, but it was with consent. Everybody was consenting there. It's very important.
All right, how about the Memphis Grizzlies?
Well, let's not go there yet. Let's go to our final sponsor. Now, you have probably seen these ads for Instagrammerly playing before every single YouTube video, but Instagrammerly is a great service. It automatically spell checks the captions on your Instagram posts, but it does so much more. It recommends the perfect emoji for each caption, and with Instagrammerly Pro, that service extends to the DMs. One misplaced character or poorly chosen photo can turn a potential night of sensual pleasure into an evening of toggling between Turkish basketball highlights and terrifying Albanian pornography. Should you go with the eggplant or the corn cob? Is my sex more of a drops of water or an erupting volcano? Can you pair a banana with the peach, or is that too much fructose? Instagrammerly's got the answer. There's a reason why Kevin Durant was an early investor. Best of all, Instagrammerly is the only social media editing tool endorsed by both Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. You can try it for a week. Try a week of Grammarly for free with promo code I'm Getting There. When you masturbate, think about my tongue on your clit and swinging back and forth from my dick to my tongue. We talk about that all the time on the podcast. It's easy to remember.
You talk about that tweet all the time.
I do. I mean, it
you have it tattooed on your calf.
It circles it in sort of a pattern, and then the other calf has, of course, Ray Allen's face. So we talk about it all the time on the podcast. I've also directed all my analysts at Slamson Corp to include Grammarly in our investment portfolio. You can send me an encrypted signal message with any questions, or just private message me on Words with Friends with Benefits.
Hey, before we get to the Grizzlies, can I talk to you about Slamson Corp for
Yeah,
a
yeah.
minute?
What do you want to know?
What's
you
going
got the
on with
prospectus?
that Spencer Dinwiddie contract?
Oh no, it's great. It's very exciting what's happening with that thing right now.
I've invested all my acorns. You told me to.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
From
yeah,
the
yeah.
account, not actual acorns.
Oh well, I'll take the actual acorns too. I got an acorn guy.
Well, that's interesting.
Mhm.
Well, let me know how that Spencer Dinwiddie thing's working out.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna get burned by you again.
Well, let's finish with the Memphis Grizzlies. Great team playing in Memphis. They should probably be playing in Nashville, but Memphis, whatever. It is hard out there for a pimp. Randy, what do you think of this team this year?
I think Jaren Jackson is incredibly switchy. He has a very repeatable shooting motion. And other than that,
Here's what I got to say about.
basically drowned this entire team in the bottom of the ocean because they're either really old or really terrible.
Mhm,
And
mhm. I think
I
at this
do like how young they are.
Oh yeah.
Not as a team, but as a front office.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So many years before they're dead.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so much life ahead of them. Not dragging
Mm-hmm.
it down. That the medical premiums have to be so low overall. Oh, just thinking about all that life, all those cells that haven't split yet. The T cell count just skyrocketing.
Mm-hmm.
Supple flesh, working organs. Oh, my favorite young. I don't like to think of these as players as much as I think of human future organ harvest. That's why I like to think of a rookie in the NBA as, and that's why Brandon Clark is my Rookie of the Year pick. The computers loved him in college. That's the most important thing. It's the only thing. Computers are more important than people. And he's also my MVP choice for next year. So congratulations, Brandon Clark, for winning the prestigious preseason Slammed Up MVP award. Oh,
I
also,
like him. He's going to be switchy.
Yeah, he should be.
He can stay above from the bottom of the ocean. Everyone else has got to go though.
I also would be. I do agree with what you say about Jaren Jackson Jr., but I think it's time to make sure that he finds a woman because you need Jaren Jackson the third. I think it's time to tank until that guy's draft eligible.
What if he went for like the joke name, like Jaren Jackson Jr. Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like a band that would play at McCarran Pool.
Mm-hmm. That does sound like a real trust fund kind of. Actually, do
It
you think
sounds
the
like
guys
a band that would have a podcast on The Ringer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that has like a lot of songs, and then you hear the album, and they're all about like different Laffy Taffy jokes. Each one's that's like a title for each one. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I have to go. I have a meeting with Amy Klobuchar.
Oh, whoa, that's pretty exciting. Well, I mean, don't tell any of the Julian Castro secrets, even though
I can't remember them.
I can barely remember that you even worked for him. Well, we'll be back four
I
more.
think he looks a little bit like someone that would be on a news, like a throwaway joke on a television on the news on like the first season of Veep. I think that's what he looks like, but
do you think
seriously, his face is so unmemorable. I keep trying to remember it, and all I see is blank.
Would he be like a cameo on Veep, or would they just be making fun of him without real reference?
No, it would be like they'd point at a guy on TV, and then he'd like say something funny, and then they'd be like, "Look at this asshole," or whatever.
I don't really understand conversations like that, so I will take your word for it. All right, well, we'll be back 4 more times with more division previews. Until then, you can check out Randy showing up at the office at 3:35. It's cheat day tomorrow. And as for me, you can find me on, well, not on YouTube because my account has been banned, but you can see me on a different streaming platform.
Daily Motion After Dark. That's where I'll be posting the logs, my political opinions, and, of course, the erotic dance lessons. Until next time, stay slammed.
A lot more a lot more fighting that episode, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think he made
Randy's
Randy get
really
there.
standing up for himself. I kind of like it.
It was nice. I guess he should get to work 20 hours early every day.
He
Do you think
definitely
he left work?
Randy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of with him on Julian Castro, though. I also cannot remember what that man looks like.
Where is he from? Where did he come from? He has like an equally forgettable brother somehow.
All right, Sean, that's been our show.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything you want to plug?
I just want to plug this next song.
Okay, did you write a
I
song?
did write a song.
What's it called?
It's about the Houston Rockets. It's a Violent Femmes song, and it's called Stat It Up.
Great. Sounds great. As for me, you can always follow me on Twitter at Frankie Muniz, where earlier today I tweeted, "Today was an amazing day. A day I will never forget. The best day of my life. Yep, that good."
He's never
think-
going to follow up on that, is he?
No, I think he was getting married.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, because 14 hours before he's tweeted, just in the Dillard's kids' shoe section buying shoes to wear for my wedding.
Oh. Well, so you got married on a Thursday?
Dude, yeah, he's Frankie Muniz, don't you think?
Yeah.
All right. Trust the process.
That's the process.
Shut it down. I'll take a moment of silence for Jay Crowder and his fiance.
May after May, I will lose and I will complain, but the May after this May, I will flop and I will audit. Why can't I get just one assist? Why can't I get just one assist? A triple doubles when I can't resist. So I passed to Gerald Green and he missed. Why can't I get just one board? Why can't I get just one board? I'm crashing the glass like Harrison Ford, but Tyson Chandler tipped it to Eric Gordon. Why can't I get just one bucket? Why can't I get just one bucket? Harden dribbled for 20 seconds, fuck it. But I waited in the corner for just one game after game. I get the ball and throw it away. But the game's on Thursday night. I'm gonna cook like Walter White. Oh my, more. You should have checked the shot chart outside the key. I know you're trying for team chemistry, but Russ will put up bad shots with impunity. Whoa, wow, Westbrook. Take a look now, his D ain't textbook. He's dribbling around, thinking about his next look. Doesn't know the plays, but he's got a sketchbook. Don't shoot that pull-up three. Don't shoot that pull-up three. It won't help your efficiency to don't shoot
shoot that pull-up three. Don't shoot that pull-up three. Don't shoot that pull-up three. Might as well toss it in the sea, but don't shoot that pull-up three. Anderson open at the top of the key. Harden let it fly from 33. Share the ball, slip and fall. Writhe on the ground for a foul call. Stats to analyze, stats hypnotize. Stats make Daryl evangelize. Our tweets will make you roll your eyes. D'Antoni contract talks were full of lies. Oh my more. Next chapter of this story. The tab is open, we're at Bubba Gumps. Let's hope we don't need our stomachs pumped. Oh my more. More losing than Nemo and Dory. Tillman's restless, he's ready to stab. He thinks a rainforest cafe's really wrapped. Not resting dudes on back-to-backs, forgetting to pay the luxury tax. After round 2, when they stink it up, he says, call Nate Silvercell, I'm gonna stat it up. Stat it up, 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 stat it up. You got to stat it up. Stat it up, oh man, after man, half our team forgets how to play. But next year, we'll win the chip, and paying the bonuses will make Tillman sick.